Welcome back everybody to Life Post Stroke. My name's Dave Hayes, and this is the channel where I put pretty much everything that doesn't make it onto my main channel, Hayes Tech. What am I making this video on today? I really wanted to talk about Epiphone guitars and where Epiphone came from, where they went, and where they're at right now. So when we come back, we're going to go ahead and talk about Epiphone guitars, then and now. Okay, well, for those of you that have been watching any of my channels, either on this channel or on my Hayes Tech channel, you know I've been doing some video reviews on some guitars lately that my grandson purchased, which are from Epiphone. And if you guys want to go ahead and skip to just me giving you a sample of these guitars, I'll post that up here somewhere so you guys can just jump ahead to it. But before I actually do that, I want to talk about Epiphone and where they used to be, where they came from, and where they're at right now. Now, I'm probably going to get dates and stuff like that completely wrong, and if you want to watch a good video with history on Epiphone, I suggest you look into JP Cormier in his channel. He does an outstanding video on the Epiphone inspired by Gibson lineup, and he gives a very good history on Epiphone's history. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to that video down below, and I highly recommend you guys watch that video because he's going to do way better job of demonstrating some of the new offerings from Epiphone than what I can do. So again, check that video out. Now it used to be Epiphone was a violin maker and from over in Europe, okay, and they used to make violins, and I think they made like the you know, like the European mandolin sort of, I think, don't quote me on that, but they came to America, and when they did, they started making guitars. And the guitars they made, I don't have it here, but it was basically the Archtop with the F-holes in it. Again, all solid wood construction. And you guys have to remember, back then, Epiphone was probably Gibson's biggest competitor. Epiphone made as good of quality guitars, if not better quality guitars, than Gibson. And Gibson knew that. What did Gibson do about it? Well, they did a hostile takeover and purchased Epiphone. And again, this is something that I'm not really, you know, sure about 100%, and I suggest watching JP Cormier's video. Again, he goes deep into that. But anyways, Epiphone purchased the company and started making Epiphone and Gibson guitars side by side in the same plant with the same people, same woods, everything. So if you have a guitar from, say, when Gibson purchased Epiphone up till about the 1970s, you've got a pretty nice guitar. This is my Epiphone FT79N, and this was made in the Kalamazoo plant, and it was made right next to all the Gibson guitars with the same woods, the same people, everything. They made this guitar right next to all the Gibsons. Again, this is an all solid wood guitar, solid mahogany back and sides, mahogany neck, and the slanted inlays, the rectangular inlays. I mean, it's just a beautiful guitar, and I love it. It's got a great sound. And those guitars from that era were actually very high quality guitars, and if you can find one, I highly suggest that you get one. The biggest thing that I liked about the guitars from that era was the neck, and I got to get the guitar again and show you. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but look how narrow that neck is. Now, the ones that they're remaking this guitar again, all solid wood, the whole 9 yards, but the neck profile is not that really narrow, slender neck that I love. I wish all my guitars had that neck on it. I love that neck. The new ones they're making are actually a lot wider. They're actually shorter. Well, the scale length might be the same, but they're not the same neck. Now, something else about that guitar is the scale length is about 3/4 of an inch longer than their Gibson counterpart, which means you have to tighten the strings up a little bit further to get to the same pitch that you would on a Gibson. So scale length matters. It makes a big difference in your sound. Okay, so right about 1970, and my dates are not gonna be exact, Gibson decided to send all their Epiphone guitars, and I do mean all of them, they sent them overseas. And from what I understand, I think they went to Japan first, and I think now they're being made in Indonesia. But either way, they sent all of their Epiphones overseas. And they said, you guys can make basically what we make, but you're going to make them in a substandard quality, meaning it's going to be a plywood guitar. Later on, they started making them with all solid tops, but still plywood back and sides, so on and so forth. Now I have a sample of the newer offerings. When I say newer, I mean about 2 or 3 years. And this is a cheap version of their guitar. And when I say that, it's like $199. There you go. But there are a lot of things about this guitar that really, really suck. The biggest thing I've got to bring up is this is a plywood back and sides. It's mahogany, layered plywood back and sides with a mahogany neck. I think it's mahogany. It does have a rosewood fretboard. It's got a solid Sitka spruce top on it. So that is all solid. So you would think yourself, well, okay, it's got a solid top on it. And I'll tell you what, guys, if you need a guitar for a youngster that is just learning to play, this isn't a bad guitar. We're going to get into some of the things I really hate about it, but, well, actually, we're going to get into that now. Okay, so they started making these guitars overseas, and they weren't allowed to make them of high quality. So what I want to do is I want to let you guys hear this guitar, and I want to try to explain some of the things about this guitar. Okay, I'll just play a couple chords first. So you can hear it, and to me, I think it sounds a little flat, and these are brand new strings. I just put them on, so this is the way it is. I will tell you right now, the strings are very low. They have this set really, really low, and there is no way to, I'd have to shim the bridge up in order to get the bridge to raise the strings up high enough to where it wouldn't buzz, but I'm not going to play it hard. But still, it's not a bad guitar for somebody to learn to play on. So let's see what this thing sounds like. All right, there you go. And again, you can hear it kind of sounds muted. Again, it's a guitar you could learn to play on, but you can see where they went with the quality. Okay, if you look up here, you'll see that there is a truss rod cover, okay? That is not a truss rod cover. If you take this off, it's just bare wood. Why they did that, they did it for looks and looks alone. The way you adjust the truss rod is actually right through the sound hole, and there is a Allen wrench that you have to use to adjust the truss rod on this. And believe me, I actually tried to loosen it a little to let the tension pull the neck forward. I guess if I would use heavier strings, that would also pull the neck forward a little bit, but there you go. I also do not like cutaway guitars. I think they detract from the sound of the guitar, but you know, it is what it is. There are a lot of things I don't like about this guitar, but then you have to remember this guitar is $199. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want you guys to hear, in contrast to this, what my 1965 FT79N sounds like, okay? Okay, again, this is my FT79N. As you guys can see, it's got a solid Sitka spruce top, solid mahogany back and sides, rosewood fingerboard, rosewood bridge. It's actually got a rosewood saddle too. So I don't like the adjustable saddle. I think that detracts from the sound, but hey, I guess the Beatles liked it good enough to use it back when they wrote a lot of their songs, so it is what it is. Now I want you guys to listen to the difference between a plywood guitar and an all solid wood guitar, okay? Now it's going to sound a little different too because it's got a very, very aged top. This top is it's over 55 years old, so. I mean, there you guys go. That's the difference in sound. I mean, this thing is boomy. It's, I love this guitar. So, there you go. That is the difference that you're going to get from a high-quality guitar to a very substandard guitar, plywood guitar. Yeah, you can learn on it, but, you know, honestly, if I was going to try to get my son into playing guitar or my daughter into playing guitar, I would probably try to spend as much as I could. The better the guitar you get, the more likely your child is going to continue or want to continue to play. So now I want to show you what Epiphone is doing now. Okay, now the next guitar that I want to show you from Epiphone, this is when Epiphone started to say, you know what, we want to try to start building some guitars that are better than what we were normally putting out, okay? And I know this isn't as good a representation as it could be, but this is one of the guitars that Noah picked up just because he's always wanted one. He's always wanted an Archtop guitar. Even though this is a layered back and side guitar, so it's not all solid wood, it does have a solid top, which is arched, okay? It's got an arched top that is solid Sitka spruce. It's got a solid ebony fingerboard. It's got an ebony fingerboard, a 5-piece mahogany and maple neck, and it's just a beautiful guitar. It's got very nice inlays done, real mother of pearl. I mean, it's just a beautiful guitar. Now, this guitar has a, I would say, like a tubby sound to it, okay? That's the only way I can describe it. But now, when these guitars came out, you know, back in the 30s, and this is basically what Epiphone started with, was guitars like this. Of course, they were all solid wood. But this is the sound that these guitars had back in those days. So I just want to let you guys hear what this thing sounds like. And remember, it's different. It's going to have a tubby sound to it. But it wasn't made to sound like a dreadnought, okay? So let's let you guys hear what this thing sounds like. I'll try to do the same song, but I'll probably try a little something different on it too, because I don't think that the song I was doing on the other guitars is made for this one. But this one's made for fingerstyle and stuff like that. So let's go. All right, now notice the sound in this, okay? The muted, tubby kind of sound. We'll just do a G. We'll do a C. E. And a D. And there you go. But I had to bring this one up too because this guitar has a place, okay? It's just cool in its own right. And again, Epiphone was really trying to start to make a higher quality guitar than what they were normally putting out. So now where we're going to now is what Epiphone is calling their Inspired by Gibson lineup, okay? And they have three different guitars, basically three different guitars that they are calling inspired by in their lineup. And it's basically the Hummingbird, the J45, and of course the crazy J200, okay? Which in those days, Gibson, that was their most expensive guitar you could purchase from Gibson. And it is, in my opinion, still the most expensive guitar you can purchase from Gibson. So what Epiphone did was they decided they were going to come out with a lineup of those guitars made of all solid wood construction. That's crazy. All solid wood. And Noah, he wanted a J200. I mean, when he first started playing guitar, he wanted a J200 by Gibson. He just wanted one real bad. And we knew, and he knew, that he would probably never be able to afford to get one. When Epiphone came out with this guitar, which is their J200, it changed everything. Again, it's got a maple neck with a mahogany strip down the center. And of course, it's got that solid maple back and sides. And of course, the Sitka spruce top. This is the same size as the SJ200 or the J200 by Gibson. It's made exactly the same way the SJ or the J200 by Gibson is made. Really, the only way you can tell the difference is the mustache bridge on it has these inlays filled in with mother of pearl. And again, they're not plastic on this guitar. It's all mother of pearl. The only thing I found of low quality on this guitar is the pins for the strings. They're plastic. The saddle and the nut are all bone. It's not plastic. This thing sounds awesome. Alright guys, again, I'm not here to play these guitars for you because with my stroke hand and my stroke right side not being able to, play guitar like I used to, I just wanted to make this video to explain a little bit of where Gibson was, where they went to in their dark place, and now where they're at, okay? And the thing that I think that's really cool about this is they've come full circle again, in my opinion. Would it be nice to see them build their guitars in, America again? Yeah, I mean, that would be nice because you wouldn't have those snobs out there that say, well, if it's not made in America, I don't want it. Hey, I'm not like that. I always look at an item for what it is. If it's a high quality item, I don't care where it was made. I don't care what it costs, you know, if it's cheap or not. If it is a high quality item, that's all that matters to me. That thing is a high quality item, in my opinion. So, where does that sum up this video? And, you know, again, to round this whole video out, I just wanted to get across, Epiphone, when it first came out, was a manufacturer of some very high quality guitars and violins. They've come to America and they started making guitars, and they made very high quality Archtop guitars that people were actually wanting and buying. That made Gibson nervous. Gibson decided to buy out the company from Epiphone. That way they could deliberately, eventually, have them make lower quality guitars, and that way they couldn't compete directly against Gibson. And Gibson made Epiphone guitars right alongside of all of their guitars in their Kalamazoo plant, and they were making them out of the exact same wood and by the same people. Okay, all solid guitars right up till about 1970, and then they shipped them overseas. When they shipped them overseas, that was when Gibson decided to put the halt to Epiphone, so to speak. And what I mean by that was when Gibson decided that if you wanted a high quality guitar, you bought a Gibson. If you couldn't afford a high quality guitar, you could purchase one of their low quality guitars in their other brand, Epiphone, and these guitars were going to be made overseas. Then Epiphone started coming out with a different guitar lineup. Even though they were still plywood, they were making them with a little better quality and a little better wood, like say the bridge and the fretboards, you know, were a little better quality. And then Epiphone, or Gibson, probably made this decision that we were now going to make a lineup within Epiphone called Inspired by Gibson, which were all solid wood guitars. And I think they did this to compete with manufacturers like Recording King. Now, you guys know I have a Recording King RD328, which is basically a Martin D28 clone. It's got solid rosewood back and sides, solid spruce top, aged 30 years. I mean, that guitar just sounds like a cannon. Well, I think Gibson said, you know what, we've got to start doing something, because these other manufacturers out there are killing us with these Chinese-made guitars, these Korean-made guitars, you know, Indonesian-made guitars, and we've got to let Epiphone make an all-solid guitar. That's the only way we're going to be able to compete with these people. Now, I do think that it is going to hurt Gibson in the long run, because who's going to pay $5,000 and up for a J200 if you can get that for under $1,000 and it sounds awesome? See what I'm saying? So there's the conundrum. Alright guys, I hope you liked the video. I've been wanting to put this video out for a while, and I'm going to close this video out by playing my 1965 Epiphone Texan, which is an FT79N. Again, all solid wood, solid mahogany, back and sides, Sitka spruce top. But we're going to close the video out with that, and hopefully this will round the video up for you guys. So, guys, I just want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget about my big giveaway over on my other channel, Hayes Tech. We're close to giving that camera away to somebody over there. So if you're not subscribed over on that channel, get over there and get subscribed. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you all for watching, and we're going to close this video out by me playing my FT79N Epiphone Texan.